having Joel with kind of running the backcourt?
It's a big one. That's the first thing I think of. You take a guy who's our best three-point shooter, our best perimeter defender, who had been our leading scorer for the majority of the year. So you're taking a guy who does so many different things. And then who you replace him with, if it's seventh, you replace him as a freshman, which still trying to learn the point guard position, trying to learn the level of intensity that he's got to play with all the time. So that part of it's a big time challenge. Plus the fact that, okay, now it moves you another person down in your personnel, which started out, I said our depth is really something that's be really good for us, but we're slipping, losing some of that too.
Does that mean seventh is going to replace Joel in the starting lineup, or have you decided that? Or
I have decided, you can go two ways and throw him out there and say sink or swim, or you could try to feed him a little bit, get him a little bit, get him a little bit. So I don't know where we are now. The other night when Joel got hurt, I put in Nate immediately. Or maybe that's maybe first sub. I took Joel out, I put in Nate. And then I think when he got hurt, I went with seventh at that time. So it's still up in the air as to what I'm doing. And the other thing is, if it's seventh or eighth, that changes the substitution pattern for the two men. So too.
Right. Coach, has you ever found yourself sort of being tricked, if I can use that word, when you look at a guy like Joel, solid build, tough guy, that he's almost invincible?
Yeah, I've seen some, I thought Tyler Hansbrough was that way. In his senior year, he missed all those games early in the season because of the stress reaction condition. But Joel was banged up almost his whole freshman year, so I haven't had that feeling with Joel because of that, because he was his freshman year. I don't know that he was healthy almost the entire season at that point.
Seven said the other night the most difficult challenge for him playing the point in your system, learning how to run it the way you want it done, is the quickness and speed that he has to play with. Is that what you've seen the most difficult thing he's had to adjust to? And how has he done once the games have actually started?
He's getting better. It's slower than I wanted it, slower than he wanted it for sure. But no, I think playing at that pace, because his speed is really something. I mean, it really is Ty Lawson-like speed, and we haven't seen that yet. And I put that part of it on the fact that he, as I said to John about Joel, he hasn't been healthy all year. And but yeah, the speed with which you have to play, and you do it every possession, and along with that, the intensity that you have to play with on the defensive end is something that's a shock for everybody, but particularly for a point guard, particularly a point guard with the skill set that Savage had. He's been able to coast and still be quicker than everybody else, but it's not that way at this level. But it's just hard. I mean, C.B. McGrath was in the staff meeting the other day, said, Coach, I was a freshman. I just got out there. I had no idea what to do, when to do it, how to do it, or anything, because you're just so overwhelmed. And I told CB, thankfully, I was really happy that seventh was a lot more intelligent than he was, kind of thing. But it is, a freshman point guard is a difficult spot. And, we've had Ty started after the fifth game. Brent started the first game, but that was because Raymond was out. But I've had a lot of freshman guards that have come in and done it. Kendall started his 10th game, those kind of things. So it is hard. Has
there been noticeable progress since the game started, since he got to go against different looks and stuff?
Somewhat, yeah, but there's still a seventh out there that nobody's seen yet, that I've seen that nobody else, and no one has seen in a North Carolina uniform. There's a guy there that you haven't seen yet.
Aside from the speed part of it, what do you think is the biggest adjustment for freshman point guards entering your particular system?
Well, it's, to me, if you're a defensive end in football, and as a freshman, what's your job? Go tackle the quarterback. Or somebody comes running at you, tackle them. Now, what's the job of a freshman quarterback in football? You got to call a play, and then you got to get up there and decide, okay, what defense? Oh, this is not the right play, so you got to make it audible now. How do I audible this? And, oh my gosh, there's 5 seconds left on the clock that I'm looking at down there. Well, that's what the point guard does in basketball. It's not Tony Bradley, go get the ball off the board, and if we throw it to you, turn and score. seventh. On every possession, you've got to call the defense. On every possession, you've got to call the offense that we're in, whether it's secondary, braid, or open, or box, or whatever, and what are we going to do? And some of it you call it verbally, some of it you call it by your actions. Now, you're calling the play, but they're not lined up the play that you call. I mean, mentally, it's difference in night and day. And I think that's that for a lot of point guards in a lot of situations, but I give the point guards so much freedom. I mean, we've had some awfully successful point guards. I still go back, there's only been the Cousy Award for 13 or 14 years, and we've had 3 of them. One of those schools had 2, and nobody else has had more than 1. So it's a situation where the responsibility, when you get it, you can really, really be successful.
How do you help ease that transition? Do you help them watch tape or put together a study guide, or what do you do for freshmen coming in to help them learn that?
Do everything we've done for 29 years. You talk to them, you watch film with them, you do all kinds of things, but there's another thing going on that you can't overload a freshman, particularly this time of year. It's the end of this first semester of freshman year, and classes are over tomorrow, and exams start on Friday. And it used to be a lot easier than 25 years ago when they didn't count 20 hours a week as a limit you could spend. I sat on the bus and talked basketball with point guards for an hour-and-a-half bus ride before. I'm afraid to do that now because that counts as an hour-and-a-half of our 20 hours. And so it's harder for a guy now.
Is that transition pretty standard for the point guard, the freshman point guards coming in that you've seen?
It depends. You know, some of them handle it. You know, Bobby Frazier, I think, started first game of his freshman year. Bobby was really a thinking guy, you know, so it might be easier for him. Ty just went as fast as he could, ran past people, and if he screwed it up, I said, at least screw it up at 100% speed. And so it's different for every guy. I mean, Aaron, I went 3 years in a row at Kansas, started freshman point guard 3 years in a row. I started Jeff Bosch when he was a freshman. Kirk Heinrich got there the next year. I moved Bosch to the 2 and started Kirk. And then Aaron Miles got there the next year, and I moved Kirk to the 3 and Jeff to the 2 and started Aaron. So I've done it plenty of times, but it's been different for, depends on who it is.
What's your evaluation of how Isaiah has done? I know you were hoping that he would take a big step forward in the senior year and be more consistent, aggressive, that kind of thing. How do you think he's done? Just, you know,
Well, it's one thing he's done, knock on wood, he'll shoot all of it if this doesn't work, but he's stayed out of more foul trouble this year, so if that happens, then all you guys be careful walking down the dark alleys. But
I wrote that in game 1 too.
yeah, it's I think he fouled out 1 game, is that correct? Yeah, he's fouled out 1 game, so that's the first thing, but scoring average is up, shooting percentage is up, those things are really good. His rebounding hasn't been what I thought it would be, and that's the area I'm pushing him in more than anything else. But you know, we need everybody to do more, and if it's the last game of the season, I'm still going to be asking him to do more. But all his numbers are up, with the good exception of his fouls not up, fouls are down, with the exception of rebounding. I think we got to get more out of him on the backboards.
Are guys either natural rebounders or not, and how, you know, if not, how do you help a guy become a better rebounder?
You just have to emphasize it as much, and you know, some guys I chastise in comical ways like Isaiah, some guys I scream at. Depends on which way I think it has the best effect, but some guys the ball has a way of finding their hands, you know, and that's and usually those are guys that have really good hands because when it touches it, they keep it. But other guys are natural rebounders that can go find the basketball. And told them 100 years ago, it was 92 or 93, we played, I think it was Ball State in the first round of the NCAAs, and they had a forward who was like a top 3 or 4 rebounder in the country. And he had a great line. He said, "I treat every shot as a pass to me." And you think about that, that's a pretty good way to do it. I haven't had many of those guys, but we've had some really good rebounders. We really have. I mean, Bryce was naturally a good rebounder because he didn't vary too far away from the basket anyway, and he had a quick jump and a high jump, and he wanted to be a rebounder. And some other guys, you have to really push and push and push them. I think Tony is naturally a pretty decent rebounder. Kennedy has the great hands. Isaiah has the jumping ability to put all 3 of those together and give each one of the best qualities of the other guys, and you have 3 fantastic rebounders. But I do believe this. You got guys who you can shoot too much, pass too much, dribble too much. I've never seen a guy that rebounded too much, so you can go get as many as you want.
I believe you said last night on your radio show, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 to 10 days for Joel?
That's what they told me. Yes.
Okay, if you had a conference game tomorrow night, would that change things as far as him being available?
I don't think so. I haven't seen him today. Last time I saw him was last night at practice. He was still on crutches then, so that wouldn't change.
I know you want to have
They
a,
held pretty important conference game, I think. You go back, didn't we hold out Ty Lawson here when we played Duke? He didn't play against Duke here. That's a pretty important
Florida
conference
State.
game. And then in the NCAA,
Yeah.
yeah, didn't play in the ACC tournament. So the opponent almost, the only reason I'm saying almost because I should never say never, but almost never goes into my determination when a guy plays.
Keeping Joel away from the Epsom salts.
Yeah, Ty Lawson. Yeah, but I'm positive. Ty Lawson didn't play here against Duke, and that was a pretty important conference game.
Roy, Bob McKillop said a couple weeks ago that he thinks this team that he has probably got the most depth, versatility that he's had since he's been there. Have you seen that on tape?
Well, two things. One, remember, I don't watch tape until the day before the
Yeah.
game. And so it's in, what do they call those computers, laptops? It's on my desk upstairs, and when I leave here, I'm gonna go look at it. But, because we played Sunday, we practiced yesterday, we worked on some things, and we had guys sitting out practice, so, no. But if Bob says that, I believe him. I believe he's one of the best coaches in our game. He's one of the finest gentlemen that we have in our game. I look at the stats and see that they have, I think it's like 10 guys that shoot the three-point shot, that have good percentages for a lot of people, but not good percentages for him because of the way that they normally shoot the basketball. No, I've studied the stats a little bit. I know a little bit about Aldridge, and I know a little bit about Gibbs. Aldridge played the 3-spot for him last year, and I think he's playing the 4-spot now. Gibbs is, 7th in the country in scoring, and hasn't had many bad games. Missed his first game because he had a little bit of an injury, but I think more about the coach and the style of play at this point. I'll look at the tape tonight. Some people start looking at the tape a lot earlier, but if you play on Sunday, today is Tuesday. Sunday we graded part of the tape after the game, and then graded the rest of it yesterday, and then had practice and my radio show, all those fun things. It's hard to watch as much tape as I like to watch.
Do you have a set amount of time that you will watch tape?
Mm-hmm. One, till I feel very good about that. I know which players, which without saying, okay, number 15, now what does he do? I want to make sure that I know the tendencies. We give the team a one-page scouting report, and mine is probably 10 to 15 pages. But I may have the stat sheet from every game and all the stats, an individual profile of every player, whereas we give the guys just a one-page report.
I know you're not much of an internet guy. But
Really? I can text, what the hell you want me to do?
but 7th had that big YouTube highlight video that had like 14 million views when he was, I think, a freshman in high school. Does stuff like that create any added pressure on a kid in this environment to have that much attention so early?
Probably does, but also it's 4 or 5 years ago. I saw it for 4 or 5 plays, and it was the same thing over and over. He's jumping and dunking it every way. But, Phil Ford is what's Phil's favorite saying. He never dunked one, but he was National Player of the Year. And Marcus Page dunked 2, or 3 maybe. I think he ended up getting to 3 in his college career. But it creates a lot of anticipation and expectations, and then how that person handles it, whether it turns into pressure or not. But I've seen a lot of guys. I mean, Kendall Marshall was the best 6th grader in the United States of America.
Yeah.
It was in Sports Illustrated. What the blankety does that mean? But he handled it pretty well. And 7th will handle it well too. It's just right now the fact that everybody knows that he can dunk it every which way you want to dunk it. It's not what's bothering. It's just getting acclimated to the college game, and guys who are bigger and quicker and stronger and faster that you've ever played against. But that was an impressive thing. But like I said, I watched it for, I don't know how long it was, but I watched it for 30 seconds. Boy, waste of my time.
What was the circumstances of watching? Did someone show it to
Somebody
you?
showed it to me.
Does that happen often, those kind of things?
Oh, yeah, I saw Nate Brett when he was 12. His dad gave me a little tape of him, and he was really impressive. He was coming off cones this way and shooting the left-handed, going across the cones and shooting three-pointers that way right-handed. And that was impressive. That was when he was 12. So we get a lot. Most of them don't get to me. Most of them get evaluated before and get something else done with them. But Nate's when he was 12, it was impressive. Shooting the ball like that.
Our guy actually is ambidextrous.
Pardon?
Our guy actually is ambidextrous.
Yeah. And that's the reason it was an easier suggestion for me to make a year later, 2 years, first year after his first year, that I wanted him to go to right-hand shot because his left-handed just, when he was 12 years old, he didn't have the hits that he had developed by the time he got here as a freshman with his left-handed shot. So, I wouldn't take Tyler Hansbrough and say, okay, you need to start shooting left-handed. I've seen our guys shoot with offhand and some of them look ridiculous, but Nate's really looked good.
This is a little outside of the realm.
Only asking me if I know anything about the internet's a hell of a lot about it.
Ask him if he brought those YouTube videos up himself.
I can text.
The marketing department is selling tickets to the student risers section during one of these games right around Christmas. What knowledge of that do you have? What's your perspective on that, in particular in light of your recent, critique of your home crowd here at the Smith Center?
Well, the risers usually show up dressed as students as opposed to being dressed up as risers, so I like that part. But no, they told me about it last night on a radio show. I think it's fine. I'd like to go stand down there sometime. If the referee throws me out one night, I want to see if he'll let me stand in the risers and watch the game. But I love the people that come. I really do. I love the students that are down there, and I think they have a lot of fun. I could stand up for the entire game. I could do that now. I'd probably sit down at halftime, but I just heard about it last night. I think Jones back there. I think Jones said something about it last night at the radio show. It'll be interesting to see what kind of attention it gets and how the people react to it, but I think it's fine. Anybody else?
We'll get Kennedy in here.